All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And as always, we're so happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in this Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage as we head into the holidays. So if everybody can hear me loud and clear, please do me a huge favor. Drop me a 1 in the chat. Let me know you're all fired up and ready to go. Good morning, Beneath. And we can go ahead and get this session started. All right. So we've got a lot of good things going on as we head into the holidays. It's definitely been a super busy year, but a blessed year. And we're definitely so happy and grateful for all of you hanging in with the inner circle and being a part of our community. So with that being said, let's click out of here and get right to it because we've got some exciting news right towards the end of this session this morning. So definitely hang in. Let me make sure everybody has control of their microphone and straight now. And okay, I think we are all good. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I am doing well, man. I am doing well. Excited for the day.
I, you and me both. You and me both. Lot of good things going on, man. A lot of good things
Yes.
going on. So, especially for the holiday season, just in time. So, yeah, man. So let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Click over, take a look at the fundamentals, Ryan. I know you've been busy. I don't know if you had a chance to see that this morning, but we see that the UK is on the brink of a recession.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so I saw that this morning. So, a recession technical definition, two consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. So we see the British economy shrank 0.1% on the quarter in Q3 2023 compared to an initial estimate of a flat reading. Right? Figures for Q2, here's the key, were also revised lower to show no growth instead of a 0.2% expansion, putting the UK at risk of recession. Consumer spending declined more while government consumption grew and business investment shrank less. But, right, that data is a bit mixed because retail sales number came out month over month for the UK, came in at 1.3%, right? So that could be seasonal, right? Holidays, but the expected forecast 0.4%, it came in over at 1.3%. Okay, so GDP, retail sales, it all matters when we talk about those core fundamental points that we like to look at in regards to uh, what economically really impacts currency. These are two of them: GDP, retail sales. So, yeah, so not quite there, but creeping towards that. So we'll see what we look like going into next year for that pound, and then kind of running right, playing into that BOJ narrative, right? The inflation rate falls to a 16-month low, right? So I I I
Hmm.
I reckon that the BOJ knows what they're talking about. You
They're not playing
know,
no games, man. They
no,
they they are on it, bro.
no, all right. So they can read and interpret their own data. They don't need the rest of the world to tell them what to do, right? So we this falls to a 16-month low, and here we are thinking, right? Investors were saying, hey, they're gonna come up off that monetary policy stance that they've held for so long in regards to their interest rates. Well, they've got support, right, in regards to why they're sticking to their policy as of right now. So, oh, Forex Factory today, of course, earlier we had the retail sales. 8:30, we got GDP for Canada, and we got core PCE for the United States, which is pretty important, right? in that it differs from CPI and that it only measures goods and services targeted towards and consumed by individuals. Prices are weighed according to total expenditure per item, which gives important insights into consumer spending behavior. So CPI is released about 10 days earlier and tends to garner most of the attention. But here's the key, right? It is the Federal Reserve's primary inflation measure. So very, very important report as we look to close out the week, as we head into the holiday weekend. And then we've got the revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment data coming out of the United States at 10 a.m. So some important data, right? On a Friday with GDP. I mean, with the GDP number for the UK, retail sales, GDP numbers for Canada, PCE for the United States, and then we've got revised consumer sentiment, right? So those are all major data points when it comes to fundamental analysis. Any questions on the fundamentals so far? Jeremy, not surprised. Government agencies are filing for bankruptcy in the UK. Appreciate the inside track, Jeremy. That's good to know, right? It's good to know what's going on across the pond. Appreciate that, sir. Appreciate any data that you can share with us. That'll give us an extra edge, right? So we'll continue to see how that plays out. Really appreciate that. So going over, I want to take a look at, move over to Forex to take a look at the DXY. The dollar index studied around 101.8 on Friday, but was still set to decline for a second straight week, weighed down by firm expectations that the Federal Reserve will start cutting interest rates next year. Data on Thursday showed that the U.S. economic growth wasn't as strong as previously indicated in the third quarter, while the number of Americans filing for new claims for unemployment benefits rose marginally. Last week, investors now look ahead to Friday's U.S. PCE reading, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, to better guide the monetary policy outlook. So the core PCE index is expected to rise 0.2% month over month in November, while the annual rate is predicted to decline to 3.3%, marking the lowest level since 2021. And if we switch over to the DXY, it is moving downhill, right? Like a freight train running south. So we just broke a low, and that dollar is moving downhill. What an amazing game a week ago. So with the dollar now, we are heading down, right? So it's not too long ago that the dollar was the strongest it had ever been, and it peaked, right? It peaked and it has since turned over, making lower lows and lower highs. All right. Beautiful. So any questions on the dollar?
No.
All right. So let's start out, right? We'll take a look at jump in and take a look at this Aussie yen play. I thought my charts are froze. Okay. So we'll take a look at it. Want to keep an eye on this as we were looking for it to move down to this level here, but we are at the edge of our buy zone and it is ranging, right? So if we might not make it down to that level, right? We're right at the edge of that 61.8, right at the edge of the buy zone. Everybody, 4-hour stochastics in the buy zone. This is a high here. Okay, this is a 4-hour level, right? Right? We break above that high, then we're looking for a breakout, right? So this is how we always say, hey, you could play your zones or you need additional confirmation. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. this is how, right, you could do it. So in essence, if it takes out that high, then we're most likely looking to break out. Most likely looking to break out, right? You can see, we always say when you get down around these key swing points, right, patterns emerge, consolidation happens, right? Because decisions need to be made, right? You got sellers that have been in control in this example to the downside, and now you're at a key level where buyers may look to try to take over. And oftentimes, until somebody wins, the market moves sideways. That's the beauty of the zones that we trade. Okay, you see it occur all the time. So we need to see, hey, can we get a nice bullish engulfing candle that'll break out and continue to the long side for us on this Aussie yen. So let's keep an eye on that for a potential C to D move. Any questions? All right. All right. Especially, right, since we're getting reports that we've got Japan inflation rate falls to 16-month low. Okay. All right. So we know that inflation, right, to control inflation, central banks like to oftentimes use one of the strongest tools in their belts, and that's to hike interest rates. Well, if inflation is low, right, lowest it's been in 16 months, we're probably not going to see the interest rate hike, right? So we could be getting back long here. So this is one that I've got my eye on. Moving over to the Aussie dollar, we were discussing this one yesterday, and Ryan is looking like it's going to play out right on the money. We know we got the longer term swing on the 4, potential 80-20, right? On the 1, we know the dollar, we just saw it on the DXY, has fallen off the cliff and is moving south. If we take a look at the daily chart here, we are moving long, but we are swinging long into resistance, okay? 68.22 level. And we looked at this yesterday, beautiful ABCD move. Looks like we're coming right in and at the extension. We cannot make this stuff up, everybody. It happens, right? It happens, right? So off that 61.8 level, and it was beautiful here, right? On that ABCD swing, because why? We love to see it when we get structure around our key swing points. Right? Structure around the key swing points, meaning we've got our trend is up. We go from the higher time frames down. Overall trend is up. We've got a weekly support, daily support right around our 61.8 level, creating a zone. Okay. Like so. And we can see price held above it. And we took off. Okay. So that's finishing out. That's within your take profit zone now. So for our swing traders that play the C to D, right, be looking to wrap that one up. That's been a beautiful move. So if you put your stop outside, right, that A, we're around that 61.8 level, looking at a stop about 90 pips, and you had a D extension on that at 200 and call it 275. Trade setup. Okay. This one would even play it out if you put your stop below the C, right? So an even greater risk to reward. We just know that when you move that stop within that AB boundary, you have a higher probability of getting stopped out, right? Because we don't control the price action within that AB boundary. So we tend to give our trades a little bit more room. Yes, if we're dividing our risk by our stop loss, you will trade smaller, but you can add to your position as it goes. And when you can consistently catch 275 pips on a move on a 4-hour chart, you don't need to have a crazy high lot size anyway. Right? Makes sense to everybody? Drop me a 1 in the chat. All right. All right. That's the difference in what we do here. Okay? We're looking at huge moves, huge swings, whether it's a C to D move or, a 80-20 type scenario. Those moves are are fairly large. So we have the ability to accumulate pips. Okay. Yep, it does, Reese. It absolutely does, right? We were talking about that yesterday, and we were saying, hey, if we continue to get that push beyond that 80-20 zone, we could still get it to pause, you know, before hitting that D extension. And so we need to just draw trend lines, do whatever you have to do for your additional confirmation, because here's that 4-hour D extension there. Right? And we're about to run right into that 4-hour D extension. And you got that 68.22 key level of resistance. Okay. So this is still in play for a major correction, right? Because you've got a higher time frame D extension, higher time frame resistance level that price has reacted to in the past. And we are still not at that 1.618 D extension or stop for the 80-20, right? So you can deploy your trend lines, however you do it, drop to a lower time frame, use a cloud. But this is still an open opportunity. Right? And that is something that we are going back and forth on in regards to that possible affiliate situation. Right? Definitely appreciate your input on that and bringing that up. So in the future, right? We've got uh yeah, we could talk about that towards the end, and then off, off on the side too, outside the session as well. But some of the things that we're going to cover today, everybody, towards the end, is kind of plays into all of that, and that's where we're eventually going. But we definitely believe in making sure we have all our ducks in a row, right? Before we do that. It's kind of like, we take business just like trading, and how the chief taught us. Once you get to a certain level, uh, you don't want to go back, right? You don't want to go back. So we want to make sure that we're doing things in the right way, but we appreciate it. We definitely appreciate the input on that. So Aussie dollar, let them move up, seeing if it's going to run out of steam at these levels. Just keep in mind that the dollar is extremely weak right now, right? So we want to use additional confirmations. I forgot on the 4, right? We know some people like to use the cloud. So just to take a look at that, what it looks like. If you're playing those C to Ds and waiting for cloud breaks, okay, it won't put you in the trade as early, but it will get you the bulk of the move, right? For people that like to use the cloud. So if you drop down to a 61.8, because it's such a deep retracement, 61.8 or deeper is a deep retracement, it is going to correct back below the cloud. But if you're trading with the trend, you're looking for that move to get back above the cloud at some point right here. Okay, then you would have to set your stop parameters off of that, right? So maybe in this scenario here, if you plan the cloud break, you put your stop right below that bullish engulfing candle, which was a beautiful signal, and below that cloud there, right? And so then you're good. You're good there. So you can work your risk to reward ratio off of that. Okay. So something like that. That's how you would do that. If you were using the Ichimoku cloud combined with the fib sequence, the way we use it. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
So it's amazing, right? So you see that huge bullish engulfing there. If you go to, right, we go and we take a look at gold, and I know a lot of you have been tracking this, but if you take a look at gold on the 4-hour, okay, look at this bullish engulfing candle breaking out of that consolidation here. That is phenomenal, right? So we come down around these key zones, right? We've got structure there from the higher time frame. But look at how when you talk about consolidations and breakouts, that's a go, right? Especially considering the fundamentals, right? With what's going on with the dollar. The dollar is the counter currency in this pair. When we talk about, gold versus the US dollar, the dollar is weak. That is an explosive move. That is an explosive move on the dollar. Anybody trading the dollar long, fundamentally is a really good play right now with the dollar being so weak. No, you missed it. But we're just breaking above the cloud now. That's going to continue long, right? So you maybe wait to see if you can catch a pullback on it. But we're looking bullish, right? We got a green cloud up ahead, and we've got a weak dollar, right? So that's looking good. That's looking good there on gold, right? So we're looking for another ABCD wave. Who knows how high that gold will travel? Hopefully to the extension, right? Any questions on gold? Waiting on the 15. All right. Appreciate it. See. Yeah. Look at that break and retest there of that daily level. Off that 382. That held really well. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, you have a buy limit at 2000. Okay. Man, I see. I see. That's all right. Well, we'll get pullbacks. Pullbacks and continuations of what we're looking for on gold. And we'll eventually get it, right? The dollar are correct. We'll eventually get that. The Euro USD, that's the follow through with these dollar pairs. So we are long, right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? So I actually think, and Ryan, I don't know if you let me know what your thoughts. I just think analyzing all the pairs to me it actually makes my life easier because I can see the flow, right? And what's really going on, right? Especially when you tie the fundamentals to everything. It just gives me a clear picture, of really what's strong and what's weak. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I totally agree with that, man. Um, being able to see all sides of it, and you talk about it all the time. When looking at the baskets and seeing how each currency is flowing and being able to cross-reference those, I think it's key. And it's definitely a major help in seeing how the full market is moving from an overall perspective.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he said, and I agree, it's training our eyes to see better. Definitely. Like you could just see the flows, right? That is just looking at all of the pairs across the board. So we're looking at these Euro USD, I mean these USD pairs, and you could just see, you know, what the weaker currency is across the board right now. And so it's flowing along. Like, I mean, and you can see when that dollar weakened, you can see when that reaction occurred, right? That footprint, because this is the third bullish engulfing candle that we're seeing now on a dollar on a dollar pair. right? That's led to a further move to the upside that broke trend lines, that came out of some form of consolidation, you know. Um, yeah, that 80-20, yeah, now that 80-20, yeah, that doesn't matter the asset class. You don't even have to have the overall trend direction right. Now you do get one thing you have to watch out for the 80-20s, and Ryan and I talk about it all the time, is really knowing uh what's going on fundamentally, because when you get uh a major shock, fundamentally, right? When something occurs, hey, it was forecasted at this, but it came in way under or way over. Price tends to run in a particular direction for for a while, right? For a while, and then it doesn't necessarily react at those levels, right? Doesn't necessarily react at those levels, and they just run, right? So when you have a dollar that's moving down, like it is at the rate that it's moving, you may not get those, those spot on pullbacks at that 80-20 level. And so you just have to be aware of that. Like, hey, man, this dollar, it's a lot of downside pressure on that dollar right now. I may not play some of those, those 80-20s with the dollar pairs. Or if I do, I need to definitely make sure I use additional confirmation. Maybe I'm not setting, a buy limit or a sell limit at that level. I want to see if it breaks a trend line, or if one of my indicators, like a stochastic, aligns properly, or a cloud or something like that. It may not be so quick to jump it when fundamentally there's a lot of pressure being put on the currency in a particular direction. So, but this is the Euro USD. We were talking about, our price action that's playing out, right? So I guess what we saw yesterday was real. with this cup and handle. It's swinging in our direction. So uh we didn't quite get a 70-86 pullback there, that looked like. So what is this? 721, and this low candle was let me see. 107.23. So we didn't quite get a 786 pullback. So we do expect eventually, right? We get through that 110 level and get up around 111.49 on that. Okay, on that euro dollar. So still some time to run there. Enjoy the teacup. Donat, you said the UCAD has an 80-20 setup. We'll take a look at that. The pound dollar, okay, larger move on the 4. Okay. So here we go. Same thing. Look at the footprint. Candlestick, sign language of the Forex market. Okay, I'll tell you what it wants to do. There's that bullish candlestick again, right? That bullish engulfing candlestick again. We've got a break and a retest of the cloud. Uh, we expect that to go longer, right? So that's a 431 pip target. It is the pound dollar. It can move, in that direction quickly, right? 431 pips is nothing for a pound dollar, right? Once it gets going. So you've got a break and a pullback. If we run that fib off the low, right? You pull right back on that sub fib, and now we're looking to move long. Looking to move long on that, on the pound dollar. Any questions? Right? That's just one that, hey, if you take it, you trade small, and you just sit in it, right? Let it do what it's going to do. It's a good fundamental play there. Give me 1 second, everybody. Okay. All right. So no questions? Okay. So let's go and take a look at this UCAD. So we can see here from the weekly, like, right, we're pushing right back down to the bottom of that range. Right? So we talked about this yesterday, right, in regards to the price action. You see how the price moved from your bottom left corner, right, up. Okay, but now look, it's moving across your screen. Okay, that's an enormous range that we've got there. Okay, big time. And we've moved back down to the bottom of that range. So here we are on the daily. Okay. Stochastic, right? The momentum to the downside may start to slow soon. Coming here to the one. This is an 80-20 that we had drawn up, right? Look, we didn't. Look, we got a little bit of a bounce, and then it just moved right back down because of what's going on with the dollar right now, right? Because of what's going on with the dollar right now. So that just continues to trend lower below your trend line there, right? If you had a trend line drawn, got a nice move, it tried, then it turned back over, right? It's just the way it goes sometimes. So these are the ones where, hey, it's like, man, give me some additional confirmation. The dollar is falling off a cliff. I need 1, 2, 3 different confirmations, maybe sometimes, right? When you get a currency that's been impacted like the dollar. And if it doesn't U-turn for you, then you just leave it alone. Right. But that was the initial setup that was drawn. We came into this zone. It gave us a little bit of a move. The buyers gave us a reaction, and then it turned right over. Right? So that one is probably headed towards that stop of 78 pips. All right. Let's see. .net that UCAD. So this the one you were talking about on the one? Or you're seeing something somewhere else? Okay. Here. Yep.
Yeah, in the four
Sure.
hour as well. So.
Gotcha. Right. So that was the one on the one. So this is the one where we may see the reaction, right? Appreciate you calling that one out. So let me clean this up because we're coming into that weekly level. So we may get a correction and a pullback. So didn't play out, not doesn't look like it's gonna play out on the one. I'll do this later. I gotta clean this chart up. We'll just go off of this what we have now. Doesn't look like it's going to play out on the one, right? But it's pushing to the next level, and maybe we see a reaction here. Right? So it becomes the same game on the correction to the upside. Right? So if you take the L, 78 pips on the 1 hour, the larger 4-hour wave is controlling everything, right? Higher time frames control the lower time frame. And maybe it's in this 80-20 zone that price wants to react because we know it's not going to move down forever. So this is one as we move towards the new year that we want to keep an eye out on this one. Thanks, Donna.
Yeah, and the 4 hour is kind of like pushing into that zone too.
Yeah, it is. It is. Right. And we see that things starting to get smaller. Right. We see that, it's starting to move sideways a bit, so the buyers are trying, but sellers keep taking over, but it's becoming more and more of a struggle. Right. See those smaller candles. So we'll see if it holds in the zone, and then we look for the correction. But I'll over the weekend get this cleaned up because we're headed towards the end of the month, end of the year. definitely want to get all my charts cleaned up. And this will be one that we'll redo and then get it posted. And put at 382. So we'll see how that goes. Any questions on the UCAD? Yeah. So we'll take a look at Bitcoin on the 4. It's moving sideways. Just moving sideways. It's in the zone, right? It's in the zone. But we got an initial reaction to the downside, then it pushed up. So we're just ranging. We're just ranging. Are you sitting in this position right now? Or are you waiting on some additional confirmation?
It's like a game of double dutch. I'm just over here waiting to hop in, wait for more confirmation.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a train wreck right now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's trying to figure itself out. It keeps happening, right? Fits and spurts. Like, look at that move up, and then it's just moving sideways, right? So we could be getting some flag action there. That's we might get another push up. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna just wait for more confirmation before I hop into this one.
I would definitely. I would, because even with a cloud, if you put a cloud on there, that's just gonna be bouncing back and forth within the cloud. So yeah, just wait on that one. Wait on that one for sure. It's been running for a while to the upside, so it makes sense for it to have some indecision right now, trying to decide whether it wants to correct, right? Because that's slowly moving back down, and it's not moving anywhere. So yeah, just wait on it. Just wait on it. And if it breaks lower in this situation, because you got time with this, if it breaks lower, right, you can still let it break through some levels and see if it wants to pull back, and then potentially look to take it. Because that could break out either way right now. Yep. So that's that. Wait for the US dollar to get strong. Yeah, it's and I think when it does strengthen in, I think it's probably going to be temporary, and then it's going to move for a move.
Only needs one candle,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you're right on that. You're right on that. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's Bitcoin. But I know, speaking of that, I know Anne wanted to take a look at Ethereum. They're waiting on that Bitcoin ETF for sure. For sure. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good for it. So I know a lot of people were Kathy Wood was catching a lot of criticism early part of the year. She is cashing out right now though. You know, on her tech stocks and her crypto moves. So kudos to her. It's gonna be a super Merry Christmas, in her neck of the woods. But so let's take a look at Ethereum. And we are going to I get all my charts set up. And so what we could do is do a quick top down, and then we'll work to get some things wrapped up so we can move on to the exciting news. So this is Ethereum, right? We'll move up to our monthly chart. Okay, we'll spend a few minutes marking this up. Okay, so this is what we're looking like on Ethereum from the monthly chart. And we can see here that as of late, just like a lot of cryptos, is moving bullish. So we're going to do our technical thing. We're going to stay technically sound. And we are going to do this top-down analysis quickly. We're going to mark our extreme high. And our extreme low. And we're going to run that straight across the bottom. So there, we're going to come in here and we are going to mark our resistance, mark our support. And I like to use black for my monthly levels. Starting to get a little bit of a delay. My charts right now. So there we go. So we'll mark that as our monthly. Just like that. And then we'll even mark this. So, okay. We'll drop down to our weekly chart. And adjust this one slightly. So, sleep. And on our weekly, we don't really have anything. So we'll leave it alone. We've got this one right below the monthly, but we've got that monthly level there for it. So we won't mark that weekly level. We'll leave it with the monthly. And so I'm going to take this support and resistance lines off. And this is what we're looking like. Okay, so we can see we are moving bullish, right? We just took out a high recently and we're moving long. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark these monthly levels down to the lower time frame. So these levels are going to be on all my time frames now. Okay, and we're going to come into the daily. So mark some support and resistance levels for the daily. Smart Trader makes it super easy. So, okay, now we need to mark these daily levels down. We need to take those down individually. And I'll even put this one up here because if we break through that resistance, that's a daily target, like so, okay? So everybody can see, okay, nice clean lines. We are making higher highs and higher lows, okay? We have just broken through and we have past resistance becoming future support. We have a stochastic that is in the buy zone. Okay. This is our low here. So I'm going to, okay, just put me a little circle there and I'm going to mark that down through the lower time frames just so I could get to the 4 and find a spot easy that I want to start running my fibs. Okay. And of course we can use the smart analytics to automatically run the fibs. We'll do that on the 1. For this one, we'll just roll back. Here's our level. And we'll start running these fibs and see where we come out. Okay. Took out the low. That. Right. Took out our A. That's what happens when price starts ranging. Took us out here. So here's our low there. Bang. We've got structure, right? So when we look for that additional confirmation, and we look for price to come back to our sweet spot. That ABCD wave, we love it when we get higher time frame support or resistance right in that zone. We've got a reaction. Past resistance becoming future support. It's a daily level. So we are moving bullish, right? We are moving bullish through this level right now. Same approach. No matter what the currency pair, no matter the asset class, same approach. So we are moving long on Ethereum. Okay, that's what that looks like. All right. We come down to the 1, and I won't go all the way back because it was fairly choppy for a while. So I'll just put the scan the fibs on this one. And this is where we want to be. As we are moving bullish, like so. I'll run it off this low just to be sure. This is right. And it is. So that's that most recent fib pushing long off that retest. That's what you look like on the 1. And we can do this here. So take this 4-hour trend line to the lower time frame. And you can see where we broke straight through. Right? And so we are continuously making ABCD waves right now. And so we're looking for this push. Again, smaller wave, still same zone. Doesn't matter the same time frame, right? Does that make sense, everybody? Doesn't matter the time frame, same approach. Our sweet spots are our sweet spots. Okay? That's the beautiful symmetry of the Forex market when you're using Fibonacci principles, right? So there's an ABCD wave. We're looking for that to play out, and then the game is going to reset. So we've got a 2406 daily target that's coming up next. That's nice and clean, right? That's nice and clean. And we look to see if we can get price to continue, right? Along our path. Dang, there's the low. And this is how we are moving right now. Any questions on Ethereum versus the US dollar? Yes, the fib tool definitely makes it easy. It's almost like cheating now. It is worth the investment, Smart Trader. At least it is for me. I know a lot of people use TradingView. It's a good platform too. So that's that. No questions?
How do you get the smart analytics? Where do you get it from?
Right here. So your little cog wheel or whatever that is they use is a symbol. So you can they've got everything, right? So if you want to, if you're like if you like trading, you know, this is the Fibonacci's right here. So you can even draw, it'll even draw trend lines on there for you. Right? So it'll even draw the trend lines. You can come in, oh, we already know about our smart support and resistance, formations for candlesticks, right? You could do smart patterns. If you want to run all types of smart patterns, harmonics, right? Which the way we teach it, all of the harmonics pretty much play out within the moves that we're trading anyway, right? But you can see here, right? This is the same thing, right? A, B, C, D, right? C, D, C becomes our new A, D becomes our new B. Same thing happens again. You either get a swing off that B boundary or you push up to the 118, 127 zone. Same concept. right? Same concept. Everything is derived from the Fibonacci sequence. That's why we teach it fundamentally and not as something that's advanced, because ABCD waves are fundamental to the market. Is how it moves. All right. Yeah. So that's it. That's it there. So everybody, as we look to close out the year, it has been a long but an exciting year for us here in the Forex Trade Room and the Inner Circle family. So I'm not going to take up any more of you all's time this morning. I am going to turn it over to my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage, and he has some amazing and exciting things to share with all of you, because we have been behind the scenes working hard all year for this moment right now. So Ryan, go ahead, and I'm going to stop my share and you can go ahead and take things over.
My man, I appreciate it. Good people. So we are extremely excited. We've been working hard for a while to bring some new things to you guys, to continue to enhance the experience here in the Forex trade room, and continue to elevate the level of information, the level of education, and the overall growth in this community and this family that we're building. So as our Christmas present to you guys, we are going to be moving you guys to a new community experience. I'm going to start there. I'm going to save the better part for later. When you log into your back office right now, you won't be able to access the community because we're migrating over to a new experience. Okay. That new experience is going to look similar to